So hello and welcome to our recipe with Margaret's free range eggs, and I'm delighted this time to be using Margaret's liquid free range eggs. They're fantastic handy. They're very convenient actually just to pour directly from the fridge, and there's no waste, none whatsoever. So the recipe that I'm going to do for you today is a beautiful, very light, fluffy, traditional style pancake. So let's get cooking. So for light fluffy pancakes, everything starts with just making sure you sieve the flour. Every time there's a reason to do so, do it. It'll lighten it up. And the rule is always quite simple. It's dried ingredients first, and then you add the wet to the dried, and then you're ready to start making the beautiful batter. So to that, I'm also going to add in some baking powder, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, teaspoons I should say, and 4 tablespoons of caster sugar. And that's all our dried ingredients together. And just using your whisk, just mix them up a little bit, and then we're going to bring our wet ingredients so that we can add the wet to the dry. So for this I am using some buttermilk and melted butter. So firstly in with the buttermilk to a bowl, and then add in a bit of melted butter, and that just enriches this up lovely, gives a nice flavour as well, by the way. And then to that we're going to be adding around about 120 grams of the liquid whole egg. And as I said, this is just so convenient. I mean, straight from your fridge. Keep it in your fridge always as well. Brilliant for not just pancakes, but excellent for the likes of a very, very quick omelette for a brunch or maybe going into lunchtime. So many benefits, and really good for baking in general. So whisk those together. So I'm guaranteed to have no shells in there as well, with using the liquid whole egg. And then we're simply just going to add our wet ingredients to the dry flour mix into the center. Hold a little bit back because you're never sure sometimes just the absorption rate of the liquid to the flour, and just continue to whisk from the center out, allowing the flour to fall its way in. That'll avoid any lumps. And the good news in this is it's going to take, as per exactly the recipe, everything that I need. And we'll just whisk and whisk until all that flour has been incorporated in, and we have a relatively batter-like consistency, which is what we're after. And you'll see that happens fairly quick. Look at that, we're almost there. Last of that flour, and then it's time to just work that a little bit harder. There we go. Now it might seem a little pound thick to you at this stage, and that's okay. We want a fall away batter consistency, and if it is like what this one is, a little bit on the thick side, we'll just add a little bit more milk or buttermilk to that. So I'll do that now. So there we go, with a little bit more of the buttermilk. Now you might not always need that, but just to loosen that up slightly. There we go. And now when you bring that together, you'll see that the baking powder is starting to work there already in rising that up. Give it a good last whisk. Make sure there's no lumps in there. And this is what you're looking for. Look, beautiful golden, and that's down to the liquid whole egg. We're going to let that sit and let it rest anywhere from about 10 minutes otherwise. And in the meantime, just make sure we dry heat a pan, and I'll have that on a nice low to medium heat, and just allow that to dry. It's a non-stick pan, and then I'll show you how to cook these beautiful and light fluffy pancakes. Okay, so we'll give that a final whisk just as it's been sitting there for about 10 minutes, and that's the nice consistency that you're after. And then we're going to start to immediately cook these pancakes. Now it's funny because in my head I'm starting to move towards what are we going to have with these beautiful pancakes, and of course I'll reveal that at the end of it. You have what you want, but to me the key is the gorgeous fluffy pancakes. So this is a dry pan, okay, and I've it on a nice sort of medium to low heat there, and that isn't too exciting as a heat, and that's deliberate. Depending on the size you want, I just happen to have just a lovely kind of ladle here that I use at home. And again, once you drop that into the pan, just kind of shake it a little bit, sort of a bit of pressure, so you get a nice round shape. And I'll get about 4 of these into this pan. Now if you want them bigger, obviously you might only get 2. And then the secret is just to leave that and make sure we don't touch these beautiful. They'll find their own shape as well, by the way, and that's exactly what a pan should do, is allow them to just develop a lovely little lightness underneath. So we let them cook and sit now for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So these look like they could be turned now. So you want to just get underneath. I'm just using a spatula. There we go. That's the lovely color that we want in those. It's going to take the same time again just underneath to cook them. Look at that. So that's what you're looking for, beautiful golden color on those. And once you do that, we'll just flip over these other ones as well. Now once I have these pancakes cooked, I'm going to leave them to the side, and in the same pan that we cooked the pancakes, I want you to add in the brown sugar. Okay, now that will start to break down and melt for you, but it'll need a little splash of water in there. There we go, and that'll start to caramelize. We're going to turn that heat up a little bit, and what we can do as well is add a small bit of our maple syrup, just maybe about a tablespoon to that. There we go. And we're going to wait for that just to caramelize. It'll not take too long. Yeah, I can smell it already, and it'll be like what you want, a nice toffee, almost burnt sugary, both flavor, smell and otherwise. I'll just control the heat. So there we go, them bubbles are starting. Have your bananas sliced and just pop them straight in there. Look at how sticky that is already. So our pancakes are warm, they're ready. Our banana is going to just take on, there we go, just separate those out perfectly and allow them just to be caramelized. Look at that, flick them over. A few more there of the last of that just to go in, and I can tell you the smell now is just simply amazing. We're going to continue to work at that, but what I want to point out to you is, just as you're separating those, if it happens to just stick a little bit on you, don't be afraid to add a little bit more water at this stage, or indeed you could put a bit more maple syrup in there. Why? Because it's just beautiful, it's gorgeous. You can put a bit of vanilla in there. Some people will put a pinch of salt in there for a salted sort of caramel flavor going on. Now look at that, that's those sticky and caramelized, and I'm going to turn the heat down because I don't want those going on too much longer at this stage. Now I know what you're thinking, do I need ice cream with that? Well, the question is, do you need it or do you want it? That's entirely up to you. So I'll turn the heat down because they're going to now be nice and sticky and full of flavour. And we'll go back just to our pancakes for a second or two and just separate them out, because we're going to layer between the pancakes just with a bit of chocolate hazelnut spread. This can be whatever you want, you know, but the chocolate works very well. You know the brands that are out there and are available. And yeah, I turn the heat down instead of, I think, what I did, which was turn it up on that banana there for a second. And look, just take a couple of sticky bananas, get them into the center, in along with your chocolate, and we're going to layer these up until we have 3 layers done. Now, there we go. The last of the banana, and then our last pancake is going to go on top. We're going to put a bit more, this is optional at this stage, but I'm definitely going to put a bit more of that lovely nutty, chocolatey spread on the top, and just allow that just to melt in the heat of the pancake. And the last, if you wish, of the bananas, or if you feel there's enough inside, do that, but there's never enough of sticky, toffee, caramelly flavour. I don't believe anyway. And then we're going to finish that off with just some chopped, this can be hazelnuts are brilliant. It could also be some toasted, maybe pecan nuts. And then finally, for me, 2 ways to do this. Either some fresh maple sauce, look at that. Oh my God. Drizzled the whole way over that a number of times if you want. We're not counting calories on this one today. We're just gonna absolutely love that, and I can assure you what we've achieved there is gorgeous, delicious and great for any time of the day. So I want you to have a go. I want you to enjoy that in the times that are in it with our beautiful Margaret's free range egg of our chocolate spread stacked pancakes with caramelized banana